My girlfriend's coworker slipped and said, "How's she doing after the party?" I asked, "What party?" 2 hours later, I found the video, her dancing on a guy at the office retreat. I watched it once, packed my things, and disappeared. She called me 47 times that night. I never answered. Hey viewers, before we move on to the video, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if you want to see more stories like this. Thanks. I'm not a jealous guy. I never have been. If anything, I was always a little too trusting. The sure, go have fun boyfriend who never checked her phone or questioned her friendships or asked where she was going. I believed, stupidly, that mutual respect was enough. That if you loved someone, you didn't need to interrogate them. You didn't need to track their location. You just trusted. That day taught me exactly how wrong I was. It started with something small. Stupid small. A comment. One sentence. 7 words. I'd stopped by her office building that Monday afternoon to drop off her laptop charger. She'd forgotten it that morning and texted me in a panic. I figured I'd swing by during my lunch break, hand it off, maybe grab a quick coffee with her. That's when I ran into Daniel in the lobby. "Hey man," her co-worker Daniel said with that fake friendly cheeriness. "How's she doing after the party?" I blinked. "What party?" He froze. Actually froze. Like someone paused him with a remote. His eyes widened just slightly. Then he covered it with a laugh that was way too loud. "Oh, nothing. Never mind, man." "No," I said, calm, neutral. "What party?" His face turned red, and he rubbed the back of his neck. "Just I thought you knew. It's not important." That was the moment, right there. The weirdness. The immediate shift from casual coworker banter to evasive panic. The way he couldn't meet my eyes. The way he shuffled his feet like a kid caught doing something wrong. Something inside me chilled. I didn't push it. I didn't accuse. I didn't even let my voice rise a single notch. I just repeated softly, "What party?" He faked a cough. "Office retreat. This past weekend." "She didn't tell you?" That was when I knew something was off. Not just because she hadn't mentioned it, though that was weird enough, but because she'd told me she spent that weekend at her friend Amber's. A self-care weekend, she called it. A girls' night. Face masks, wine, movies. I even bought them their favorite snacks. I stayed home alone, thinking nothing of it. Now Daniel was acting like a man about to bolt. "Right," I said. "The retreat." He nodded way too eagerly. Yeah, it was nothing. Just team-building stuff. Totally routine." "Sure. Routine." Except he looked like he wanted to vanish into the floor. He fled with some excuse about a meeting, and I didn't chase him. I didn't go upstairs to see her. I left the charger at the front desk and walked back to my car. I sat there for a while, staring at the dashboard, feeling this heavy, nauseating swirl in my stomach. She had lied. That alone wasn't proof of anything, but it was enough to make my brain run through the highlight reel. The sudden need for alone time, the constant checking her phone, the new office friendships, the nights she came home late, the "don't worry about it" explanations, the weird emotional distance. I had ignored all of it. She said it was stress, work, hormones, life, anything but the truth. I didn't want to assume the worst. I didn't want to be that guy. So I forced myself to breathe, tried to convince myself it wasn't anything. That maybe she just didn't want to talk about work on her days off. That maybe the retreat was boring or insignificant or something she didn't care to mention. But then came the second blow. 2 hours later, while sitting in my car outside a cafe, I scrolled through Instagram. That's when I saw it. Someone had posted a story from the retreat, posted just an hour ago. Not her. A coworker of hers I barely knew. The kind of person who tags everyone without thinking. The retreat had been this past weekend, but people were still posting leftover photos and videos on Monday. I swiped through the images. Office buddies posing by a lake, someone paddleboarding, people laughing around a bonfire. Normal. Then came the video. A crowded dance floor. Loud music thumping behind the phone speaker. Flashing lights. And there she was. Center frame. Dancing on some guy. Not just dancing. Pressed against him in a way that made my entire body go cold. His hands on her waist. Her arms around his neck. Her head tilted back as she laughed. Her smile. I knew that smile. It was the smile she used when she forgot the world existed. The smile I used to think was only for me. I watched it once. Only once. That was all it took. I didn't rage. I didn't break anything. I didn't call her and scream. I didn't even tear up. I just felt everything inside me go still. Empty. Silent. Like someone turned off the sound in my head. I checked the time. 2:47 p.m. She'd be at work for another few hours. I had time. I drove home. Walked into our apartment. Looked around at the furniture we bought together, the photos of us on the wall, the dumb little trinkets from vacations. I saw the sweater she borrowed from me lying on the couch, the one I always thought looked good on her. I picked it up and folded it. Then I started packing. Not frantically. Not angrily. Methodically. I grabbed the empty cardboard boxes from the closet and started filling them with my things. My clothes. My books. My records. My laptop. Everything that was mine went into my car, load after load. I wasn't packing her stuff. That would have tipped her off immediately. I was removing myself from the equation entirely. I took only what was mine. I left the furniture we'd bought together. Left the photos on the walls. Left everything shared exactly where it was. The apartment would look the same when she walked in, except I wouldn't be in it anymore. By 6:30 p.m., my car was loaded. The apartment looked untouched, like I'd just stepped out for groceries. I took my key off my keyring and placed it on the kitchen counter. Then I walked out and locked the door with the spare I kept in my wallet. I slid that spare under the door when I was done. No note. No explanation. She knew what she did. She didn't deserve my words. When I closed the apartment door behind me for the last time, the click felt final. Solid. Like something had locked into place inside me. I drove to a hotel, nothing fancy, just clean and quiet, and checked in. At 7:18 p.m., right on schedule, she texted, "Babe, heading home. Want me to pick up dinner?" I didn't answer. At 7:42 p.m., "You there?" I didn't answer. At 8:06 p.m., "Is something wrong?" Still silence. Then at 8:19 p.m., the first call. I ignored it. 20 minutes later, another. I ignored it. Then another. Ignored. Then the flood started. Back to back. One after another. Relentlessly. She'd gone home to an empty apartment. Not empty of furniture, but empty of me. My clothes gone from the closet. My toothbrush gone from the bathroom. My shoes missing from the rack. My laptop, my books, my guitar, all gone. At first, she probably thought I was just out. Maybe grabbing dinner. Maybe at the gym. But as the minutes turned into an hour and my stuff stayed gone, and I didn't answer, she started to panic. 47 calls by 2 a.m. 47. All unanswered. She left voicemails. She sent paragraphs. She sent confused messages, angry ones, desperate ones. I didn't respond to a single thing. Not one. Because the moment I saw that video, the moment I watched her wrap her arms around another man like I never mattered, something inside me finally shifted. I had been loyal. I had been patient. I had been trusting. And she had thrown all of it away for a weekend fling and a moment of attention. I didn't rage. I didn't beg. I didn't negotiate with someone who had already chosen someone else, even if just for one night. I simply walked away. I didn't know her a conversation. I didn't know her tears. I didn't know her closure. She made her choice. And I made mine. I didn't sleep that first night. Not because I was heartbroken. I was past that. I just couldn't turn my brain off. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that video. Not the dancing. The smile. That genuine, unguarded joy on her face while she was pressed against someone else. The phone on the nightstand vibrated relentlessly until around 2 a.m. Then it stopped. I assumed her battery died, or she finally realized I wasn't reacting the way she expected. Because that's the thing, she expected a reaction. She expected yelling, tears, arguments, accusations, the whole dramatic performance she could twist into "we both said things we didn't mean." She wanted a scene. I gave her silence. Silence is harder to manipulate. Around 6 a.m., she tried again. 2 calls, 1 text. "Babe, please pick up." Right. That's what you call a guy when you're done dancing on another man at a work event you conveniently forgot to mention existed. By 8 a.m., she switched strategies. "We need to talk." Translation. She needed me to help her rewrite the story so she wouldn't look like the villain. I put the phone face down and walked out to get coffee. By noon, her tone shifted again. "Where are you?" "I'm worried." Worried she'd lost her safety net, not worried about me. By the time the sun set again, she escalated. "If you don't answer, I'm coming to find you." She wasn't. She didn't even know where to look. She called again, twice, and then sent a paragraph-long message about communication and misunderstandings and how she didn't mean anything by it. I didn't answer that either. I didn't feel obligated to explain the basics of respect to someone who clearly didn't grasp the concept. In the evening, she finally hit the stage I'd been waiting for. "Can we just reset and start over?" There it was. The panic, the fear, the realization that her little, harmless fun had consequences. But here's the thing. I wasn't interested in watching her cycle through denial, manipulation, justification, and bargaining. I'd seen enough. I checked out of the hotel the next morning, grabbed my bag, and drove to my brother's place 2 hours away. He didn't ask questions, just handed me a beer and pointed to the guest room. Her calls continued. Her messages stacked up. Her desperation grew. I remained silent. And silence was louder than anything I could have said. By the third day, she shifted into full-on revisionist mode. I knew it was coming. Cheaters always rewrite the story, not because they believe the lie, but because they desperately need you to believe it. Her first attempt came mid-morning. Text number 1. "Can we talk?" It wasn't what it looked like. Of course. It never is, right? Her second attempt came an hour later. Text number 2. You're blowing this way out of proportion. Translation. Her actions created the mess, and somehow I was now responsible for her discomfort. Then came the voice messages. She must have realized texts weren't doing anything. I didn't listen to them. I read the previews. A few desperate lines were enough. Please, just pick up. We can work this out. You're not even giving me a chance to explain. I didn't do anything wrong. Really. Dancing on another guy at a party you hid from me. Totally innocent behavior. Right. I could practically hear her pacing, spiraling, panicking. Not because she lost me. I doubt she even understood what that meant, but because she lost control of the narrative. By that evening, she tried a new angle. You're acting childish. There it was. Insult as last resort. When manipulation doesn't work, they go for disrespect. When disrespect doesn't work, they go for victimhood. When victimhood doesn't work, they go for aggression. And when that doesn't work, they unravel. Around midnight, she left another message. This one was different. The preview was longer, more chaotic. I don't deserve this. You're treating me like I don't even know what you think I did. It was just dancing. It meant nothing. You're the one making it weird. Everyone dances at parties. It's normal. Good. Let her talk. Let her explain herself to a deadline. Let her try every tone in the book. Anger, laughter, fake confusion, guilt trips. All without a single word from me. My silence was a mirror. All she saw in it was herself. The next day, the calls slowed. Not because she calmed down, but because she was recalibrating her strategy. Around noon, she tried this sweet voice message, the one a toddler uses when caught stealing cookies. Can we just put this behind us? I miss you. I love you. Please answer. Love? Interesting time to remember that word. Later that afternoon, I got a different type of text, the one written after she rehearsed it in front of a mirror, trying to sound rational. I think the healthy thing is to communicate. Running away solves nothing. Running away? I didn't run. I walked. Calmly. Quietly. Efficiently. She was timing the messages now. Spacing them out. Trying not to look desperate. She was still desperate. Around 7 p.m., she finally cracked and sent the confession she thought would reel me back in. I only danced with him because I felt insecure and wanted your attention. I didn't mean to hurt you. Ah yes. Her pain was my fault now. Then, I didn't tell you about the party because I didn't want you to overreact. Translation, she planned to hide it. And she would have kept hiding it if the coworker hadn't slipped. Her panic wasn't that she danced with someone else. Her panic was that I found out. By nightfall, she tried calling from blocked numbers. I let them ring out. I didn't decline. Declining gives them power. It tells them you're watching. Letting it ring tells them nothing. She sent one final message before midnight. If you still care about me, please pick up. If not, I don't know what I'll do. A classic, performative crisis. She was fishing for reassurance, not offering accountability. She didn't get either. I put the phone face down, turned off the lamp, and lay in the dark listening to the silence. The silence between her messages was getting longer. Because slowly, painfully, she was beginning to understand. She had lost access to me. Not because I was angry, because I was done. By the 5th day, the silence wasn't just something she noticed. It was something she feared. Her messages became scattered, uncoordinated, raw. The curated tone was gone. The let's talk calmly persona evaporated. The I didn't mean anything by it angle no longer worked on a man who refused to show emotional weakness. This is where the karmic unraveling began. I didn't orchestrate anything. I didn't need to. She was her own demolition crew. It started with a text from her best friend, someone I barely tolerated, someone who always acted like she had a secret scoreboard of who deserved who. Hey, I think you and Emma should talk. She's been having a rough few days. I didn't reply. The friend tried again. She said you just disappeared? That's not cool. Oh, beautiful. She had started spinning her own version of events. I imagined her telling people, he's being dramatic, he's ghosting me, he's immature. Sure. Because actually admitting, I hit a party, danced all over a guy at work, got caught, and now he walked away without a single word, didn't paint her as the victim. Later that evening, her coworker, the one who slipped, messaged me from an unknown number. Dude, I didn't mean to cause problems. I thought she told you. I didn't reply, but that told me everything. She was blaming him now. She must have confronted him at work, probably in front of people, probably in that sharp, defensive tone she used when cornered. I pictured the scene, her raising her voice, coworkers staring, him standing there awkwardly as she demanded explanations for a situation she herself created. When manipulative people lose control, they go feral. A few hours later she texted again, this time in rapid-fire bursts. Why are you doing this? We can fix this. It was nothing. Are you with someone else? Just answer me. I didn't answer. That night, she showed the first cracks of consequences she couldn't talk her way out of. At 2 a.m. Is this because of the video? It wasn't that bad. At 2:06 a.m. Everyone was drunk. At 2:09 a.m. He was drunk too. You should have seen him stumbling. At 2:11 a.m. Why did you take all your stuff? That was psycho. Oh, there it was. The fallback. Insult the man who won't engage. When manipulation fails disrespect. When disrespect fails desperation. At 2:30 a.m., another text. Can you please just talk to me? Please. Her tone had cracked. No more acting tough. No more pretending she wasn't worried. She was unraveling. And she didn't even realize the best part. I wasn't punishing her. I wasn't playing games. I wasn't doing anything. Her downfall was entirely self-inflicted. The next morning, I woke up to a string of voice messages from her mom's number. A voice I recognized but hadn't heard directly in a while. Sugary sweet, patronizing, the kind of "I raised an angel" tone that makes your stomach twist. Hi sweetheart, I don't know what's going on between you two, but Emma is devastated. We all make mistakes. You can't just abandon her. Ah yes, the family guilt brigade. I didn't reply. Then, she loves you. Relationships require forgiveness. Translation, I don't care what she did. Fix it so she stops bothering us. By noon, I got the predictable final message from her mom. Please call her. She can't sleep. Well, neither could I that first night, though for very different reasons. She couldn't sleep because she was spiraling. I couldn't sleep because I was processing the end of a relationship. But I woke rested, focused, free. Meanwhile, she was crumbling, trying every angle, every voice, every manipulative trick she'd ever used, and none of it worked. Because for the first time in her life, she hit a wall she couldn't charm, guilt trip, or manipulate. A man who genuinely didn't need anything from her. By sunset, she tried one last rewrite attempt. If you're going to throw everything away over one dance, then I guess you weren't the man I thought you were. I laughed, quietly, to myself. She still believed she controlled the narrative. She didn't realize the truth, the part that would hit her even harder once she saw it. I wasn't throwing away anything. I was letting go of dead weight. And she was finally starting to understand that nothing she said, not a single sentence, could change the one thing that terrified her. She had lost access to me. And access was all she ever valued. She finally showed up in person. I'd gone back to the city by then, stayed at a different hotel closer to work. I wasn't hiding from her, but I also wasn't making myself available. I was walking out of a coffee shop near my office when I saw her car parked across the street. She was leaning against it, arms crossed, looking like she'd been waiting. When she spotted me, she straightened up, eyes wide and frantic. Not at my door. She didn't know exactly where I was staying, but she'd figured out my routine. My workplace. The coffee shop I always went to. I saw her through the window before I walked out, standing by the curb, pacing, hair messier than usual, eyes red. A woman who used to obsess over her image now looked unhinged. Perfect. I walked out calmly, hands in my pockets, posture relaxed, like I was greeting a distant acquaintance. I didn't rush. I didn't stiffen. I didn't react to her frantic energy. She rushed toward me like a hurricane. Why are you ignoring me? She was close, too close, her voice cracking, breath uneven. I took a step back. Her eyes flicked to the distance I created. She hated that. I've been calling you, she continued, her tone jumping between anger and panic. Texting, leaving messages. You can't just disappear like that. That's not fair. Fair. I repeated, not with anger, just the word, flat, uncharged. She flinched at the lack of emotion in my voice. She wanted anger. Anger is still engagement. But I wasn't offering that. She threw her hands in the air. It was one dance. That's all. One stupid moment. Everyone was drunk. You're really willing to throw everything away over that? I didn't respond. Silence stretched. She filled it, like I knew she would. I didn't even do anything. I didn't cheat. I don't understand what you think happened. I pulled out my phone. I opened the video. I held it up, screen facing her. Not aggressively, not accusatory, just a display of evidence. She slapped her hand over her mouth. Not guilty, embarrassed. And then she said the line that sealed it. That's not. You're taking it out of context. I put the phone away. You hid the party, I said. Calm. Steady. You hid the video. You hid the guy. I didn't hide anything, she argued, her voice rising. I just didn't think it was important. There it was. The truth. She didn't think respect was important. She didn't think loyalty was important. She didn't think me was important. She only cared now because I walked away. She stepped forward again, voice softening. Can we just talk? Please? I miss you. I love you. I made a mistake. No, I said. Just that. One word. Her face crumpled. Not from heartbreak, from losing control. You're being ridiculous, she snapped. You can't just judge me based on one thing you saw. You're supposed to trust me. I tilted my head slightly. It wasn't dramatic, it was clinical. You don't get to lecture me about trust, I said. Not after lying. I didn't lie, she insisted. You didn't tell the truth, I corrected. Same thing. She blinked rapidly, the panic returning. So what now? You're leaving me? Just like that. I already left. Her breath caught. That was the first real hit. You can't just leave without a conversation. You owe me. I don't owe you anything. Not a raise of my voice. Not a shift of my tone. Plain fact. She stared at me, stunned, as if I slapped her with logic. I continued. You made your choices. I made mine. That's it. Her eyes filled with tears, not sadness, but frustration. She hated the lack of emotional leverage. Please, she whispered. Just come home. We can fix it. I swear I'll do better. I'll change. I just need you. I looked at her, really looked at her, not with nostalgia or longing or pain, just observation. You missed the version of me that tolerated you. She froze. And that version of me doesn't exist anymore. She opened her mouth, closed it, opened again, searching for a comeback, anything that would give her the upper hand again. Nothing came. Finally, I added the final line, calm, steady, definitive. You don't have access to me anymore. She stared at me like the ground had dropped beneath her feet, and I walked away. No dramatic exit. No final look back. No apology. No softness. Just distance. Distance she could never cross again. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. What do you think about this story? Share it in the comments.